Hello, I'm Edward, and I'm just here to say a few words to you about my new piece, Breathe In, Breathe Out. I've always felt that good music should speak for itself, but I also believe and have learned from experience that even just a few words from a composer about one of their pieces can help can help enrich the listening process and help it to be more enjoyable and deeper and can provide a certain connection with the piece that you might not get otherwise. So here we are. Uh, and this piece was born in mid-March of this year when here in Montreal, the city started to shut down like many other places in the world. Uh, and I started to, like most musicians, came to meet the reality that concerts were being canceled, projects were being put on hold. There was just this complete uncertainty that wrapped up everything that was going on at the moment, and things just went to a standstill, and all of the rugs were pulled out from everyone. And I think, like many other people, I went into a state of shock, and I really don't know what I did for the first 2 weeks. The days just blended into each other. My motivation was gone, just not knowing what to plan for and how to plan for it. My brain just shut off and would not do anything. And then as time went on, there was this sort of anxious energy that started to build up because these days would come in and these days would go out, and I wasn't necessarily progressing like I was used to doing and working towards projects and things. And even being cooped up at home, there was this sort of cyclical building whirlpool of anxious energy that just kept building. And I needed an outlet for it. So I looked at what could be possible and what could kind of push me and could be a learning process, and came up with this idea for a piece for two pianos, which I could record here at home and could kind of work towards something and use some of this energy that was building up. Because I still have other composition projects on the go, but this energy was completely overwhelming me and I couldn't really focus on anything in the way that I wanted to. So it proved to be very valuable to have this outlet to take through all of the stages, from just an idea to kind of formulating what I wanted out of the piece, and then down to the logistics of bringing these ideas to the orchestration of two pianos and just kind of navigating the logistics of how I would record it and what would be successful in that process. So the writing process actually was fairly standard as far as mine goes. It just required hashing out ideas and kind of problem solving and taking these thoughts and these musical ideas and getting them onto the piano and onto paper. But what the real challenges came when I wanted to produce something from home. And I had this very specific idea of what I wanted, but I had never done anything like this all myself. There's usually at least a one-person team who knows a whole lot more than I do about the recording process. So that's when it really got challenging. And to add to that, I'm sure other people are experiencing this as well. Our apartment here in Montreal is not small by any means, but I can't fully play because we also have a toddler at home. So there's a finite time between morning and nap, and then from nap to night when I could possibly record, and then having to let my neighbors know because it's quite loud, and feeling that time crunch of having, okay, I have this many takes I can do, and that's it. It's not like being in a studio and just paying for a block of time, say 5 hours, and you have one piece to record, or even a weekend, and you get to kind of balance things out a little bit. There was none of that. So that was also a unique and slightly stressful process. And then all of the editing that came along with it. I'm really glad I did it, but I was kicking myself at some points, getting frustrated and kind of learning how it was going. But the piece, as the title would suggest, is in two main parts. And each part serves the same purpose for me. This piece, in a way, is quite selfish because it came from a need for me to write it, and was a really cathartic experience for me to write and to perform, quote unquote, perform. But I hope that it will help others and to kind of tap into that energy. The first person I played this piece for when it was done was for my wife. And she said how she remarked that it tapped into some of the energy that she's been feeling over the last couple of weeks, but she hasn't been able to put words to it. And that was really encouraging, because I hope that happens with other people as well. So many of the musical ideas go throughout the two parts of the piece, and something that started unintentionally and then became very intentional was that there are these little fragments of melodies and harmonies and progressions that kind of come in and out, and the two pianos sort of wave over each other and overlap, and there's some phasing and some kind of crescendoing in and out. And the sort of wave and sporadic melody idea really represents my mental energy over the last couple of months. I found it very hard to focus, and I'll get right into an idea, and then it's gone, and I'm on another track. And then later in the day, I might come back to that same idea and just be plunged into it, and then be taken somewhere else. So that's what this piece kind of does, is there are common themes, but it's always weaving in and out, and it's kind of referencing other things. And it's just kind of this kaleidoscope of panic and anxiety. I'm not really selling it very well, but I promise that it's an enjoyable experience to listen to and to watch. So I wanted to really connect with audiences in many different ways. So not only with the audio and how it sounds, but a real visual experience too, because we've all seen these split screens and these kind of collaborative recordings that have been going on. And I think there's a real value in that right now, to really feel a connection. Listening is one thing, but being able to, without the normal physical connections that we're used to, I feel like even watching and experiencing someone perform on video is a very powerful thing. Even if it's not live, to know that you're sharing that moment that someone else has gone through. So I really hope you enjoy this piece, or at least get something out of it. I hope you are all doing very well, and I'm sending my best. Take care.